How to spark inspiration when you don't feel like doing anything, you don't feel creative, and how do we get into our creative muses? How do we get into inspiration? How do we get inspired? How do we stay inspired? How do we get inspired, especially after not feeling motivated, feeling fatigued, feeling burnt out, feeling tired, feeling like you don't want to do anything for anyone, especially for yourself? And there's these esoteric teachings, these spiritual teachings that just really started to hit home when I started to contemplate and get really deep into that spark and that essence and that divine light inside of us and how to cultivate it, how to keep that going and not always doing things, but how to keep that spark alive, how to keep that spark growing, that ignited flame, and knowing when to take action and knowing when to rest. And I look back and I see these Hermetic laws. I think it's the first law. The all is mind, the universe is mental. As above, so below, as within, so without. So this is the first real law that we have where it's talking about this essence of being and this sense that the all that we're in is this one mind, this universal consciousness, and that the universe is mental. And so it's going to reflect and pick up on the things that we think and the things that we think about ourselves and the emotions that we have that drive the thoughts that keep it going. And so what we feel out in the world is how we feel within ourselves. How we feel or don't feel about ourselves is how it's reflected in the world. And so, this essence of beingness, this essence of living, this essence of creativity and being in this artistic life and this artistic frame of mind starts in this essence of understanding how to tap back into that power that is your human power, that thing that drives you, in a remembrance of taking a pause when things get crazy and going back within and really understanding this reflection. And it's the hardest practice, and this is the spiritual practice and the daily practice, is when things don't look like they're going the ways that they are on the outside. How do we still stay centered within on the inside? How do we keep moving forward? How do we keep holding ourselves steady and in this beingness? And then we go a little bit further into religious spiritual studies and we get into the Old Testament, we get into the Hebrew Bible, the five books of Moses. And when Moses goes out, he's called out by this voice. He encounters a burning bush and he has this conversation with God. And when Moses asks, "Who are you?" the flaming bush answers, "I am that I am. Ea Asher Ea." And it's this translation of "I will be what I will be." And it also translates, "I am that I am." And again, we're having this same concept of this centeredness and this beingness, but now we're taking it a little bit more in the I format, in the I perspective. So when I decide I will be the things that I will be, then I am that I am. I am that reflection of a thing in the world because I'm centered in this beingness, this understanding of oneness. And so this is the essence of how we really get to tap into our creativity, how we get to stay in that internal fountain of youth because we have a remembrance of these two ideas, this one concept. That when I can get into this state of being and I understand just the universal power that I can connect to, that I'm a small little piece in a very big, big organic universe, but I'm connected to it, and that this drive of creation is within everything. We create to survive. We survive to create. We create to survive in this sense of this is how we build our world. This is how we build our societies. This is how we build our culture. And so we can get mixed up in the fray. We can get mixed up in the productivity tasks, and we just burn out. And so when we want to come back to ourselves, and we want to come back to that essence of creativity, it's this essence of being. And so when we take this essence of being and we understand this really deep teaching, these really deep teachings, And that if I can center myself and have a self-believing concept that everything is working for me, that I know who I am and I know the things that I want to do and the visions that I have for my life are possible because I have these visions and I know everything is mental. So I'm seeing this firsthand and it will come to pass. It will happen. And then everything in life is about this exploration of creating and building and modifying and constructing this world and this life around you and this essence of it. And so this is this fountain of youth because we're able to set the stage for ourselves and we really stand into that role of this beingness and we through this can push away anything any noise that isn't centered around this creativity and this essence of being, and this allows us to experience life however we want because we have this limitless free mindset that we can come and create experiences no matter what the conditions are, no matter what's going on, that we can transform and alchemize and create beauty wherever we go, no matter what the circumstances are. And so, this mysticism, this crafting of understanding energy and how to change the energy in the room, how to change how things feel and how things look, how to create because you're creative is by tapping into this understanding and to this connection and to keep this connection open so that you're always open to infinite possibilities and you're allowing whatever needs to come through underneath, whatever inspiration needs to come through, wants to come through, you've opened up a place for it. You've allowed space and room for that connection to be open and that spark to not only show up, but to stay. And so that over time, with practice of being in this beingness of life and of self, things get a little bit easier and a little bit softer and a little bit easier, and things start to move and shift and take you on a journey all in the alignment because you're centered and you allow life to surprise you and you allow life to unfold and you take things as they come. And this is especially important when challenges arise, obstacles arise, or what we think they are. And we can look at this as just another opportunity in the game, in this game of life, knowing in this beingness, in this understanding that all is the mind and the universe is mental, and that I get to decide how I want to project those thoughts and tap into that bigger picture. And so I hope this helps just a little bit as you're moving through your creative journey. And sometimes we get a little hiccup and we might need just a reminder or a perspective to help us shift so that we can get back to doing what it is that we love doing, which is just creating a beautiful life and creating it in ways that allow us to move through the emotions, move through whatever thoughts, but still keep our focus and still allow for the ebb and flow of life. Thank you all for being here. I have links below on courses and other ways that you can connect with me online. Until next time, take care. Bye.